afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have the privilege of being on stage with these two lovely ladies. We now move on to a special fireside chat on a topic that is increasingly recognized not just as a social priority, but as a business and national imperative, which is inclusive leadership. A subject very close to my heart as well, so I'm pretty keen to do this. Around the world, research consistently shows that organizations and countries perform better when leadership is diverse and decision-making is inclusive. Yet, representation of women in senior decision-making roles, both corporate and national, remains a work in progress in many parts of the world, including our region. Today's conversation is about moving beyond why diversity matters to how inclusion drives better outcomes. We'll explore leadership journeys, systematic barriers, practical ways both the country and organization can create space for more women at the decision-making table. Well, I'll repeat it again. I'm delighted to be joined by two inspiring leaders who have not only championed women's leadership, but have actively shaped it in their spheres of influence. I will start off with Anam. A little bit about your leadership journey. Anam is the managing director of Phoenix Industries. Your leadership journey itself is inspiring. What experiences most shaped your confidence to step into the top leadership role?
Well, thanks a lot to the AmCham board for having me here, and you all pulled a fast one on me. She was supposed to go first, right? So that was the discussion we had. But nevertheless, on the experiences, I was told this is a fairly informal chat, so that's the tone. I hope that's okay. That's the I'll just speak as candidly as possible. If I think back to the experiences and I rewind completely back, the first kind of experience for me would be watching my mom as a female in that time, really pushing boundaries and breaking the barriers at that time. And at that time, I didn't think it was valuable, like what I was seeing in front of me. But as I grew up, I realized that that wasn't normal. So I come from a fairly conservative Muslim background, which might not be believable, but that growing up, everything as a girl, as a household of 3 girls was felt like a struggle, just even from the most trivial things of what to wear out or which parties we would go to or things like that. So, but watching my mom go through life being exactly who she wanted to be without any care and really, breaking that glass ceiling at that time was, I think, my first introduction to building that confidence of not letting my gender get in the way of anything I wanted. So I think that has really helped a lot throughout. And then I think studying engineering and then doing A-levels for subjects in that stream, I was usually one of very few girls in the classes that I was in, even throughout my undergrad time. So I got used to finding my voice in a male-dominant space, even though I grew up in a house full of females. I had to find my voice and I had to kind of find my style around being able to be heard in a male-dominant environment. So I think that also led to building confidence when the time came to step into a leadership role. I think those would be the two organic things that I carried with me as I kind of grew. And then the first job that I had in consulting, that's where I really learned to work. I learned about deadlines, I learned about getting things done, solving problems. So now approaching those similar situations in a work context, I approach it with a certain level of confidence. But so I think those would be the 3 things I can recall. And to add one more, I used to work with my uncle at Phoenix. And I think having, and throughout my career, I've had really good mentors that have championed women leadership. And I think that's really important. And I've been really lucky to have that. And the last role at Phoenix, my uncle didn't just allow me and the other women space, he would insist that we take it. So that really helps, and that's something I've learned a lot from all the mentors and bosses I've had throughout. Hope I answered the question well.
Interesting journey. Thanks, Anam. Dr. Segera, on to you. You worked for years in advanced women's leadership. From your perspective, what is the strongest business case for having more women in decision-making roles?
I think the strongest, I don't say the business, where women are there, you can see not only the economic but also the social advancement, because a country cannot move forward without a social advancement. In Sri Lanka, we go other way around, economy and social. But it has to be social and economy, because the social expenses are more costly than economic costing. And for example, if I talk about the cost, some of the things we do not calculate as I spoke. You know, we think the corporate cost is on recruitment, training and development, absenteeism and productivity. But the real costing which is not being calculated is of the changing the cultures and DNAs employees bring to the company. Because that's where we block these putting women in some boxes, men in some boxes, gender boxes, and all that. The moment we put people on boxes, we lose the right people. And that cost shows in our balance, our financial balances. Because Sri Lanka, in a country like Sri Lanka, you know, even last year, we have seen the population is growing only from the females. So we have an issue. And also the education also growing with women, right? And 77% of women in universities are coming out without having any leadership training and all that. That cost is incurred by the corporates. And also, when you see a leader, you see a man, because our DNA is on that. But when you see a leader with a woman, you don't see a leader, you first see the gender. So that is very costly, because to get a woman into that position, the companies has to go through a lot of investment and a cost. That itself has this thing. But when you get a woman to run it, you have more retention of employees. The absenteeism goes down and the sales go high. There's enough, I think, proof in Sri Lanka how the corporates, when they have the diverse board, how the productivity and the profit margin has increased. It's not just because she's a woman, because she sees not what men see sometimes, because she comes with a background. We say we are equal. I don't agree we are equal at all. We are not equal. Everyone is different. And everyone brings different type of, that's what I always say. We have spices, but what we put for the meat, we don't put for the vegetables, right? Because two flavors. So same, the spices are different. But end of the day, we want a tasty food. So if you want a tasty food, bring different spices so that you can have a tasty meal, rather than having the same meal and you will not really live the life, because the food is something. So I always say diversity and equity is same as a dish we are having. Make it so different, make it so diversity that you can enjoy. And when you enjoy it, you can see the results. So cost is not only the cost, not only the profit, the impact is long term. When you get a diverse women and men into a corporate, you don't see the results within 4 or 5 years, but within 10 to 20 years, you see a huge this thing. If you want instant noodles, don't think about it. But if you want a long-term profit, think about diversity.
Thank you, Dr. Segera. You hit it right. I mean, this starts with leadership, right? I mean, you need leaders to think like this. If leaders don't think like this, then you will never get to what the end game is, right? go back to you, Anam. Um, have you seen firsthand how diverse leadership changes the quality of decisions or a company's performance?
Yes, absolutely. It goes back to what Dr. Sulochana was saying. If you want tasty food, you have to have the right mix of spices. So I've seen it play out in our work context a lot. And there is hard evidence to back this up as well. You mentioned it in the beginning as well. All the research organizations that the McKinseys and the BCGs put out, there is absolute evidence that says that diverse leadership teams outperform on innovation, growth, profitability, all of that. But my own living experience of that at Phoenix, the journey has been a lot about making a difference in the market and bringing out products that would excite people because of how different they are. So that would have not been possible if we didn't have diversity in the room that was brainstorming that entire output. And that's something I personally really enjoy, is being in diverse teams, because I've seen time and time again about how magical the output is. You ensure that you make sure that you are guarded against your blind spots, because there's so many different people in the room. It pushes you to be more curious about why certain people have certain opinions, and it really challenges preconceived notions and assumptions that I usually walk into the room with. And having a room full of diverse people, for me, is absolute if for any change, any transformation, any growth. So for sure, yeah. And I don't know if many of you are familiar with one of the photos we have on some of the billboards is with a grandma sitting on a chair and another like sort of her grandson, that's assumed. I've spoken about this before too, but the agency that did the photo shoot for us, we insisted that the grandmother had to be in shades and all-star shoes. I don't know why I have an obsession with all-stars, even though I don't own any, but the agency, we had like a 1 hour back and forth about whether that was appropriate or not. And to me, I was thinking, what does it matter? It's just a photo. Let's try it. But we insisted, and I can't tell you how many comments I've got on those two specific things. So I think there is sometimes fear in engaging many different opinions and getting diverse teams together. I don't know what really is at the bottom of that, but I have encountered it in a work context, and this is a very simple example I gave you. There's loads more like that as well. But yeah, but I have seen the change, to answer your question in short.
Thanks, Anam. Thanks for leading the way, and now we know why Phoenix products are different. Back to you, Dr. Sulochana. Talking a little bit about barriers, right? Despite progress, many capable women still don't reach top leadership levels in both the country and corporate sector. What systematic or cultural barriers do you think remain most significant?
I like to change the barriers into opportunities, right? When there's few opportunities, it's always a barrier. For women, why they say women are not competitive, women are jealous of. When women has only a small portion of opportunities, that's where the barriers come. But when there's a full of opportunities, the barriers are not there. So one thing we have to change is these opportunities are not segmented only for women. Opportunities should be open for all people. That's where we have to take these gender boxes out. And the other one is, we are very keen of being the first woman. Where's the second? If you don't have successes, it's not easy. But then saying that, when a man goes to a leadership position, there's a buddies who support him to be successful. When a woman lead to a senior position, first thing is she gets isolated, right? And the support system breaks down from there. When it's break down, she has to prove herself. She cannot fail, because if a woman fails, every woman will be failing, because when she represents, She represents the whole women. I was really happy when I read that after 35 years, Bangladesh got a man as the president or prime minister, right? After 35 years, they said. But if it is a woman, it would have been one of the most significant news in Sri Lanka or anywhere. So we have to stop that being just a highlight on the gender leadership. We have to identify women as the leaders if you really want to be progress. As we said, because we also bring the same leadership qualities, but in a different way. Are women emotional? Yes. But that's a plus point. It's not a negative point. The emotions help her to be on the empathy side, right? So you don't put them on there. And also when a woman we see a lot of women in leadership, they have to survive and they have to prove. While the men fails, they say, okay, he's a leader, so it's okay for him to fail. That's failing forward. But a woman fails, she's failing backward. That stereotype has to be taken out. Let them also to fail in a positive manner. And the boards also, we see known people. It's high time we get new people. I don't know why you want, if you're married to a known person, if you have the background, everyone will support. But that will not be the right way. I would say bring the odd people and see the difference. While we support the people to be there, the women to be there, ensure there is a pipeline. There is a pipeline available. Everyone say, no, you don't have that kind of people. We are not same, right? Now, for example, the chairs were changed, right? So when you get women, you have to change a lot of things. That's normal. Don't expect us to be like a man. We are not going to be you because we are different. We bring different things. Accept it. The issue is Sri Lankan all songs are made for women in flowers. I don't know what the flower and we have to do. I have no idea, right? For God's sake, just understand. We are leaders. We are people who are born with empathy and leadership. Because our leadership comes from our birth, not from the brains. Every woman, whether she's a mother or not, has given a womb. That womb is where you born leaders. Everyone is not a leader, but every woman is a leader. So give that opportunity. Don't put them in boxes. You're a caretaker, you're a mother, you're a daughter, you're a wife. No, look at them as educated, and they can be the mother, wife, and the daughter, and also they can run the country, they can run a company, they can fail also, they can make mistakes. They are human beings. The day the corporate leadership change onto that, you can see more women there because opportunities are not put up for people who knows for all the people despite of gender, just despite of the background, but for the right people to be there at the right time.
Thank you. Strong message there about breaking the barriers, and I think that's a good message to a lot of the corporate heads. I think give a chance to the youngsters, right? I mean, it's about leading the way and giving everyone an opportunity, right? Anam, back to you. I'm going to put you on the spot. As an aspiring young leader, this is just about advice for future leaders, right? What advice would you give young women aspiring to leadership roles, especially in competitive corporate environments?
I don't like giving too much advice, but if I had to share some thoughts, I think I would rather share them to organizations, because I think we are the ones that need to change, not the young women that are entering the workforce. To the young women entering, I would say push us to do more, push the organizations to do more. And I think for organizations, I would say let's not look for a business case to invest on diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think we just have to do it. I had a member on my leadership team asking me because we have KPIs for percentage of female leaders, etc. So like why these were important. So I think the level of knowledge and understanding around that, I think some people might not even know what those acronym means. So I think we owe it to our teams to educate them on the topic and really not look at the investment return on that and just do it is something I've thought to myself that we will do. And any other advice? I think going back to what you said, I think the best outcome will come if everybody is performing at their optimum. And for that, I think we need to make sure everyone is comfortable. So I fully agree that if women and other diverse communities are at the workplace, things will not look the same. Everything will have to change. And we should welcome that.
Thank you. Dr. Sulochana, if organizations genuinely want to improve inclusion, what are 2 or 3 practical steps they should prioritize?
Just look at your people as people, not on gender. And also ensure that when you give a training on diversity, it's not about women and men. Diversity is a huge topic. Talk about things that people want to be part of. And people say, okay, leadership should change. Yes. When you give the force to the leadership, give the same force to your blue collar down level also. Because when the force comes from up and the down, then because automatically the middle one is the one with or without your knowledge making decision or breaking a company. It's not the top, it's not the lower, it's the middle. So you have to ensure that when you want to change the middle, who will be one way in the leadership, give the force from the top and the bottom. And the other one is ensure that more than you speak about women or anything, speak about people management. Companies do not succeed, people do. So people matters a lot. And also respect, that's where the companies, I think a lot of companies has forgotten this diversity or inclusivity or equity is all about respect for human beings. Lot of, as a counselor, I see a lot of people say they are stressed and when they come to us, the only thing we see in them, they have lost the respect in the organization. The moment they lose their dignity in a company, you lose a good employee and productivity. And it's not just a one. It goes around. So if you all want to have a diversified organization, first thing is treat people as people, don't put them on boxes. Second one is provide opportunities despite of the background. I think we know some of the laws are already there that you can't advertise. We need a receptionist, a beautiful woman, and we need a salesman with a bike, a male. You can't do that, but still we are doing it. Learn to do the odd things and practice the best things. You can make a change. And I have to thank AmCham for a CEO forum for putting the women fire this thing, because normally they put it in the last when everyone leaves, right? So normally every organization, that's what they do. They say, we have included you, right? Because that's where, but thank you for ensuring that you put it as important, not just ticking the boxes. A lot of companies get awards, get everything, just ticking. We have policy, no point of policies if you know doesn't have a bystander or a whistleblower. Have a bystander, train them. Stand for what is right, not what is just doing for the sake. Sri Lanka need respectful workplace for people to work with dignity despite of their gender or diversity.
Thank you, Dr. Sulochana. We have a very diverse organizing group for this AmCham forum, so you can, that's why we got this subject in the middle. So we have so we have time for one more question. I'll just put it to both of you all. in one sentence, what is the biggest mindset shift our country and organizations need to make to achieve true inclusion? Go to
I think you've said it very well already. So I fully echo that sentiment of really making sure that everyone is able to perform at their optimum is the biggest mindset shift I think we can make as a country and community and organization. But I think I'll let you take that.
I think that's a respect of citizens and also respect in digital media. Before you share, comment, remember she can be or he can be someone's son, someone's father, someone's brother, someone's spouse. So think twice before, if you do not know their story, if you have not walked on their shoes, do not comment, do not share. And for the professionals, you will not do that. Don't screenshot and put it to your buddies. Because sometimes, maybe with or without knowledge, you are really hurting someone's life for a long term. And please understand why I'm saying with a lot of depth, lot of knowledge, as someone who has made people, who has gone through just because of digital wrong footprint, there are so many who has ended their lives. What Sri Lanka at this moment needs is respect, not only in corporates, not only as humans, digital media, digital footstep respect. When you recruit, ensure you check on those. When you promote, ensure these things. Because corporate can make a huge influence for citizens in this country to be a respectful citizens. So it's a corporate responsibility, not a CSR project. It's a responsibility of corporates to ensure that they made a huge impact on making respectful citizens in this country.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. Thanks, Anam, as well. And I think we're doing good with time. I think we're going to go take some questions from the audience. So just before I get to the questions come as anonymous. There's nobody's name in, so just wanted to say that. So to you first again, Anam, how do you manage the work-life balance?
I mean, yeah, it's what's going on for you, Dr. Sulochana?
There were so many men here. None of you all put that question.
This is a good opportunity to answer that and answer it well.
I know, it's a triggering question. But
You want,
no, I mean, I recently became a mom, so my whole life has changed. And managing work with that change, I mean, everybody here, there's so many people in this room that have gone through it. It's nothing new, but it's not easy. And I know what you mean. No man ever gets asked that question. So in hiatus, maybe I shouldn't answer that question.
And
no, but I'm happy to talk about my...
And we, before this, informally discussed how corporates are supporting that, right? I mean, Dr. Sulochana, well, I have to read this through first. So, Doctor, one of the questions, at least we got people laughing. What is one leadership strength women often bring that is undervalued?
Yeah, that's something. There's saying in Sinhalese, right? Gahaniyage nuwana handimite I think handimite digai. So people laugh at it. You know what it says? Because I really studied because there was a controversial 10 years ago on that. You know, men, they are situational leaders. When there is an issue, they know what to do at that moment. Women, they are strategical thinkers. They look at the long term of the impact. That's why they say they do not take risk. They always think, if I do this today, what will be my tomorrow? Because they have to carry the burden of being accused, being failed, being blamed. So that's why in the past they brought this Gehani, because those days all these spoons had a long this, and now it's a AI, no, it's also short, right? So they had that long-term vision, how they look at things. They analyze it, they put data, and they look at it in a different way. While men, when there is an issue, they come and say, buddies, we have an issue, we have to solve it. What they want is, they want to solve it. Okay, we'll think about it tomorrow, what will be the result? But women doesn't want to know the result at that time. Women want to take a long time. So it takes, sometimes it's, they say they take risk, very not taking risk. It's actually a calculated risk women take, right? So there's a different on that. And also, men sympathizes too. They always look at and sympathize. When women empathizes, two different things. So women bring the empathy with emotions, men bring sympathy with understanding, I have to react now. So those are a bit of a different things because our brain cells work in a different way. Women brain work together, left and right. Men, one at a time, right? So that's the difference, because we say we can do multitasking, it's just because that we have that instincts. So that's why. I want to answer that balancing work. Can I answer?
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Every human has to balance. It's not just women, right? There's nothing called balance to work. You can't come to work and say, today I'm not thinking about my family or my kids or my mother or anything. And when you go home, no, I'm going to shut down from a no, you can't do that, right? And men are also the same. If a wife calls, whether it's a boardroom or not, he has to answer, right? So there is a balancing for both parties because there is a role that they have to play. But women has to balance more because our system is always wants to be there for someone. We are born like that. We are born very responsible and accountable. Men are not. Not that it's wrong with them, that's how we have created them. So both men and women has to balance life. It's not just women. A child is not just born only by a woman. Child is belong to a man and a woman, or even adopted or not. A motherhood, a wife, a spouse, anyone. So it's not about balancing only by women. Every human being has to balance. So be honest, be open-minded. When you ask this question next time, ask a man also, how do you balance your wife? They will be able to answer.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So I think we have time for one more question. Anam, over to you again. How can organizations move beyond symbolic inclusion to truly embed women's perspectives into their corporate DNA, right? So that diversity becomes a driver for long-term profitability and sustainability.
I think, in short, have more of us at all levels, mostly at the entry level. We were talking about this earlier as well. I think we have to really actively recruit more and more and more young females into our pipelines. And I think and really enable them to grow in the company and really make space for their voices to be heard. And I think to the earlier question that Dr. Sulochana answered, I think one thing I have seen in a boardroom or management team setting where women really stand out from the men in the room is the vulnerability that they're okay to bring into the room And usually I think that's a more comfortable space for us as women. And I think this is also a broad generalization, and I'm not sure if I'll upset anyone by saying it, but I think men tend to find that more difficult. And I think with that, you block so many other inputs that can come. For example, if you're really able to be vulnerable and share your true, authentic self in any forum, I think women are much better at that than men, and I think that's what makes them stand out as well.
Thank you, Anam. Thank you, Dr. Sulochana. I think we just over time. I think the audience truly enjoyed this session. Thank you. Thank you.